Don't harass them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to begin with the departmental budget presentation by the Sheriff's Office. We have with us Sheriff Darren Hall. And Sheriff Hall, would you introduce your guests, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. To my right is our Chief of Administration, John Hudson, and to my left is our Finance Director, Mr. Pete Lutz, and we have several men and women from the Sheriff's Office in the back, and they're for backup, I think, so we can call on them if we need them. So,
thank you. I need to ask you if you are satisfied with the budget as proposed by the mayor.
Yes, we're very satisfied with the budget as presented.
All right, you may begin your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. If it's possible, I'd just like to hit on about 3 programs or things that we're doing in the Sheriff's Office that you may not hear or know as much about as some of the other things, and obviously then we can answer questions of the budget itself. About 2 years ago, we designed what is the first of its kind, I believe, in the country, a mobile booking unit. And I just wanted to report we've had a year's worth of service in the community with a thing called the mobile booking unit. It is a full service booking room that is able to be moved anywhere in this county for the use by the police department or any law enforcement agency to book an arrestee anywhere other than downtown Nashville. Most cities our size either have a fixed booking room and precincts all over Nashville, or in our case, we decided to make that more mobile or less permanent so you can move it to where the police need it. It's been in the field now for over a year, and I just wanted to kind of give you you guys know this, but I grew up down there, so I can give you a little bit of history as it relates to booking. I can remember not too many years ago that it took the entire shift of a police officer to arrest and then book a prisoner in downtown Nashville. I remember a former council member who rode with a police officer and was very angry when he realized that his entire shift he took in the booking room, and wanted to know why that officer was out of his zone and why was the sheriff's office and the commissioners and others slowing down the process. We started back then studying the process. Why does it take so long, and what can we do to improve it? And it wasn't just the sheriff's office, but a lot of players that are involved. And we came up with several improvements to the booking room as you know it. But really, we decided to say, look, Nashville's too big to centralize a function like booking forever. So we built and designed a unit called mobile booking. We move it out at the direction of the police department to where they believe, the commanders believe, it is most needed on nights throughout the week. And this year, we have booked over 2,000 people through that unit. And just to put that in perspective, what it means, the average booking time in the mobile unit is 20 minutes. And if you just take what that means, it's basically a drive-through. The arrestee comes to us, the police department hands them off and drives right back to the zone that you want that officer to be in, and they're not tied up in downtown Nashville in line in the booking room. When we started the process of designing the booking room, it took 3 hours, the mobile unit, it took 3 hours to book a person. Now we have that down to 20 minutes, and I just wanted to kind of give a kudos to our staff who are out there working hand in hand with the police department doing this work. It saves the police department about 5,400 man-hours a year. That is good time for them to be back in the zone, which is really what our goal was all along. And our folks who do the booking downtown now are able to get into the field. You know, long term, we met with the mayor's office several months back, and very pleased that they, as well as you guys, funded an additional unit, mobile unit, that'll be in the field probably 6 to 8 months from now. And I believe the future of Nashville's booking prisoners will be a decentralized version where you have units that can be booked all over Nashville and not have the officer drive from where I grew up in the south side of Nashville and spend most of their time in downtown booking an arrestee, instead being in the zone, hopefully preventing crime and also able to reduce their response time. So I think it's been a big success. We'll have another unit in the field, and we'll hope to give you a similar report in the years ahead. I could go on and on. These are also special event, able to be used at special events like New Year's Eve, of course, all the events that take place at the football stadium and other places where you can actually move a unit such as this instead of having to bring them downtown. You're not removing staff. So it's been a big success for us. We're very proud of it, and I think you'll see some improvements to it as we go forward as well. Another program that we're in partnership with, and I'm very proud of, is we work with Belmont University. Some students at Belmont 2 years ago came up with an initiative called Spring Back. Springback has a lot of meaning, but to them, what they wanted to do was to help men who were coming out of the system, the jail and prison system, to find their way back into the community. And it's exactly what we're trying to do in finding ways to get men and women who are coming out placed back into the community. The unique part of this program is that it actually recycles mattresses. And what we do, a lot of you know this, is we have a whole division dedicated to removing all sorts of debris all over Nashville in our Correctional Services Division. And what they do, they pick up some 100 mattresses a month. They're all taken to this Springback location. They have former people in our system, some of our former inmates who have been now hired full-time to recycle the entire mattress product. And what we do is remove that obviously from the landfill, which is a huge success as it relates to the landfill itself, but it gives us a place other than taking it from the street directly out to a larger landfill. It gives us a way to see our men and women who are coming out of the jails come up to a marketable place to work. Belmont does all of the work. What we do is we provide the labor and bring mattresses to them. They oversee the program with people who are coming out of the system. I'm very pleased for them that they have crossed the 30,000th mattress this year in 1 year. It is a tremendous success, and Belmont deserves all of the credit. What we've done is found a relationship that allows us to do the legwork of getting the mattresses off the streets, and my agreement with them was to ask them to hire some of our men and women who are coming out of our system, because that's really what we're trying to do, is to spring that person back as well. So very proud of the program. They've won national awards as it relates to their entrepreneurial program at Belmont, and we're very proud to be a partner with them. Another program, the last thing I'd like to talk about is a program I mentioned to you before. I just want to kind of give you an update on it. We designed this program 6 years ago for our staff. It's called STEP, and that stands for Starting to Enjoy Your Pension. What we realized years ago is that men and women who work in this line of work, it's a risk to take your pension and go out there and not have some of your I guess in your world, your dollars and cents. You're taking a choice to retire. We want you to have that option, but in the end, we're concerned about your identity. Research shows that people don't take their pension when they're pension eligible sometimes because they have a loss of identity or a way to feel a part of the institution that they've grown up working in. So we designed the program that says that if you're working in the sheriff's office and you are pension eligible, then what we will do is hire you back at your hourly rate back into the sheriff's office. So your pension plus your hourly rate gets you back to what you're making presently. And obviously the pension fund then is required to pick up what you're already earning, which is your pension benefits and again, your percentage of your overall salary. Just to put that in perspective, and the reason I bring that up for you today, as you guys know, the buyout was this year. Just to put us in comparison, the police department are twice as big as we are. And basically our numbers are the same in every other way. So this year, and I believe Chief Anderson has told me that somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 plus people took the buyout. I know 70 plus took it in the fire department, and we had 11. And the reason we had 11 is we have nearly 35 people on a thing called the STEP program that are still working with us part-time, but they're also enjoying their pension. And I guess the reason this comes up tonight is it is also a savings, a tremendous savings to me. It's over $1 million a year in our operating budget, or I would never have been within budget the last 5 years. So we're very proud of it. Our staff love the program. They still have an identity here. They work part-time, and they're earning their hourly rate. And what we've been able to do is to shift some of what is their pension already earning into the pension fund, and we've seen it as a win-win-win, and it only is fitting that we're here tonight within a budget because of the situation that we've dealt with years ago in creating the STEP program. So, and one last thing as it relates to that, as you hear all the time, over 80% of our budget is our staff always. It's going to be, at least in our line of work, a very difficult line of work to recruit and retain employees. We maintain the lowest turnover rate in the country in what we do. It is extremely tough to find good people, and my opinion is if you spend the money to find them, then you better spend the money to keep them. And part of the things that we do throughout the year is recognize our employees who are both doing their job, and we try to deal with those employees who are not doing their job. And I believe that has led us to the point we are today, which is within our budget, but also within what is a national number of our turnover rate. So very proud of that, very proud of the men and women who are over there right now doing a very, very tough job. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, and you're right. You all do a tough job. So you all are. Your department is to be commended. I'm looking at page in the book, the budget book, page E71, and under your strategic issues. I'm always interested in behavioral health services, and how has that? And you said here it needs. Resulting in additional behavioral health services for dealing with your population. So is it contractual that you all are doing this through, I'm just going to throw out some names, maybe Vanderbilt, Centerstone, and that ties in with how that most offenders who do not receive structured correctional service return to jail, and this is very true. So how are you all dealing with that?
Yeah, we do two different pieces of that. There's a contract to deal with the mental illness, the whole through our healthcare contract that is through the health department, and is a very comprehensive contract that is I guess here in a few months going back out to bid. I was having a conversation yesterday with someone about the improvements to such an industry because for years, as you know, when we deinstitutionalize the mental health hospitals, we run the largest mental health hospital in the city now, called the jail. And a lot of times the resources that were dedicated to mental health institutions did not transfer to where it really belongs, which is in institutions that we are now running for the mentally ill. About 25% of our people are diagnosed mentally ill when they come in the institution, and our challenges are many. I'll tell you, as a system, Nashville is resource rich in areas like this. We have a mental health court, which really helps us divert cases. But I think the police department, and we see this every day, would tell you that the individuals that are being rearrested over and over and over again throughout the year, that is predominantly because of medication or lack of medication or a family support system anymore. They're out there in the park or on the streets and they end up getting arrested and brought back in numerous times. The mental health component to what we do is not only an expensive way to deal with mental illness when you're dealing with it in a jail. I'm just not totally comfortable that that's the right way a community like Nashville should look at such a subject. But that's the pure mental health side. The part that we do, and that's a contract through the health department. The part that we like to deal with more is behavioral issues. For example, we have an unofficial motto that the police arrest the person and we try to arrest the problem. The person comes to us, we know what the statistics are, we do our own research that about 8 out of 10 will tell you they're addicted to substances when they get there. I like to tell people the other 2 lied. We're not far off from 9 out of 10 people being addicted to something when they arrive. If we know that 25% are diagnosed mentally ill, let's be arresting that problem as best we can. Believe it or not, jails are much more complex than prisons. The average prison in a year of time deals with 1,750 people, and the average jail deals with 36,000 people. And so what we're challenged by is not only numbers, but it's really the short time that we have to arrest such a problem. And I think behavioral problems take, as I always hear people talk about addictions, long-term addiction takes long-term treatment. And what we end up with is a 10-day sentence sometimes, and we're trying to deal with a case, let's say a prostitution case, that the law requires them to do 7 days. The truth is we're not able to get a whole lot done in 7 days behavior-wise, and they're then turned back to the street. And so, but we have the largest licensed alcohol and drug center in the state of Tennessee. We're very proud of our alcohol and drug treatment programs in our institutions. I probably get a call a month from an anonymous person I don't know. The call will sound like, will you help me get my son or daughter arrested? And whoever is talking to me really is wanting treatment for their son or daughter who's on the streets, and they know they're either going to die or eventually go to jail or prison, and they know that treatment is available when they get there. And sometimes the best quality relationship between family and the arrestee is when they're sober in the institutions, and they believe if we can get them back there, maybe that relationship can build. So we're very proud of it. I think the goal in a city like Nashville is to connect those services to the community, because when that individual is released, the key is that going to continue via the community resources, or you're just doing it for the short period that we have them? We're very, very aggressive as it relates to providing programs to our inmate population, and as I tell people, we really don't say no. A lot of animal programming that we're working on right now. We've used performing arts programs where we've taken folks. We do all sorts of, if you ever get a chance to come out and visit to see, we have a thing called Reality Babies, where there's a grant that we had several years ago, and these are actual babies, dolls, that are the actual weight and feel very real. These are males that they're issued to, and it will go off. Alarms go off if you don't feed it, if you don't clean it, if you don't take responsibility for it. And you've got these men running around institutions with these things that we're trying to teach what parenting really is about during your time here. So we don't say no. We try to be very aggressive with programming.
Okay. My second question on page E73 that ties in with that, you have here adjustment for expired grants, I know when I toured your facility, I remember going and saw the culinary program. So I'm glad to see that you're going to, try to get that renewed, and also cosmetology. And then do they receive certificates for these programs once they're finished?
Cosmetology is a really neat one. Your hours can be applied while you're in the institutions to your licensure in the streets, which is a big plus for us. We're able to get that done. We have a certification program in our culinary arts called Safe Serve or Serve Safe. Don't hold me to one of those, but it's a certification that when you walk out of here, most of the fast food in this community or restaurants are very familiar with that, and you can earn that while you're in the institutions, which we're very proud of as well. The key is to train in a marketable skill that a person released can actually get employed by. Don't overshoot the target by computer programming when you've got 4 felonies on your record and the likelihood is not very high. So we try to get it into the world that you're interested in, but realistically what you can do when you get released.
Okay. And what is SCAAP and PAWS?
We use all kind of alphabets,
Okay.
don't we? SCAP is a federal program that reimburses all communities a percentage of your bookings a year. This has been going on for years. It has to do with your foreign-born status coming out of Washington. They do that all over the country. It's a percentage. I think we're about $200,000 is going down federally, but that's just really us giving them data. Historically, that's been going on for years. PAWS is our own program. Pets Adopted Will Survive. That's what that stands for. I always get in trouble on that. And what we're trying to do there is we work with animal control to help obedience train animals so they can be adopted before they would be euthanized. One of the things that we're very excited about is through the Turner Foundation, we have a grant that allows us to build dog houses for people who are unable to provide houses for the dogs in which they're adopting. So it's just a branch of our programming.
Well, thank you. When I did tour the facility, I hadn't toured it recently, but I really appreciate what I saw because I'm always interested in rehabilitation for individuals who have to go to jail, and also the behavioral health service is so needed, so they won't keep repeating. And then I heard you talk about mental health court, which is good, so that they can be mandated to get some type of treatment. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilmember Taggart.
Thank you, and thank you for being here, Sheriff. I don't know if your contract with Belmont requires you to test sleep any of those mattresses, but Councilman Pardue has some spare time. He can.
I don't know if these mattresses would be really good anymore, but
Well, he's available. My standard question, obviously, I say this every year, the dollars we expend on our community services division are the best dollars this government spends, dollar for dollar. Are we secure in the number of crews you have on the streets, the equipment that they need to service our constituencies, and are we comfortable there?
I appreciate you saying that, and I agree with you, by the way. I don't think I ever thought I would be here saying this, but our challenges right now are we don't have inmates eligible to work, the numbers to grow the program. And so the equipment is there. There's nothing needed from you guys to help us get that done. I think the mayor's office has been very helpful over the years in realizing some things. I love this word, but knuckle boom became, Billy Lynch, I think, coined the phrase. I don't know what it means, but we've got some of those that really help us get into some of the,
We don't know what they are, but we've got them.
Yeah, it sounded cool, and we got some of them, but it actually helps us. This week we were out in Bellevue, I understand, helping where some floodwaters had drifted some debris up in an area, and so this actually allows you to do it with much less manpower, so to speak. But we're in an interesting place. I mean, I've been there 24 years, and we're reaching into populations to think of creative ways to get inmates that are there eligible to go work. And we don't want to put the community at risk, and we've got all that to balance, but there's not an equipment need, there's not a staff need. We're in a really good place as it relates to you guys.
That's great news, and I thank the administration for helping take care of that. And if by chance, following up with Council Lady Moore's comments, that any of these grants don't renew, we want to keep John Taylor in wood for his doghouse and anything else necessary, so you come to us if we can help.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilmember Baker.
Thanks, Sheriff, for being here. And I get out riding my district quite often, and I think Michael Raines can tell you my district keeps Springback pretty well supplied out there.
That's right.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Sheriff Hall, I guess this is sounding like a broken record, but Mike Raines is exceptional. He does an excellent job. He responds very quickly. He takes all calls. I mean, he's a godsend to my district, and as I'm hearing to the county as a whole. And I really, really appreciate his efforts and the nice manner that he does it in. So if you could let him know, we really appreciate all his good services.
Well, I will do that. And I do want to, because I think he would want me to say this, Captain Tim Laster is sitting next to him, and Tim does a lot of work all over Nashville, too, in that very same division. So thank both of them for being here and the work they do every day. But thank you.
Are the crews, are they going to be, you're short of prisoners now, but that's not going to affect the crews coming out too much?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good, because I still got plenty left to do.
All right.
Thank you, Council Lady. Councilmember Domine.
Thank you, Chairman Matthews. My standard question, how many people do you have that are impacted by the step increases, and what would the cost be to implement that?
I can get you the actual number of employees. I did ask our folks to start looking into the numbers. I'm going to give you a ballpark figure for our overall agency. It's somewhere in the $450,000 range, and you could probably somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000 is where we will finish on that program. We obviously have some folks that wouldn't qualify based on the step that they're on in their pay range, but. It's well needed, and I really hope you guys will approve that and get that to the staff.
Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate all the work that you and your department do. You are a tremendous asset to this city.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no other members in the queue, that completes your departmental budget hearing, Sheriff, and thank you very much, and to all your staff for everything that you do for the city. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.